16 without stenting. If you had stented, this type of injuries are rarely seen. I have not seen. What do your experience?
I don't think there is a role for a 12-14 access sheet
Yes.
in a non-stented ureter.
Yes, non-stented ureters 12/14, please avoid as much as possible. Then you will not see this type of. This is disaster and you have to plan for ureter implantation. If it is lower ureter, okay, laparoscopy open, it is still okay, but in the mid ureter, upper ureter, sometimes equal to nephrectomy. Upper ureter, I feel equal to nephrectomy, very difficult to repair. Do you agree?
Yeah, 12 French access sheath, as I told before, it is very traumatizing, and in Indian ureters, I don't suggest that on a non-stented ureters.
Yeah. With your experience over a period of 10 years, is your stenting rate increased, or you say that still all cases I do dilatation and go in?
You mean tight ureters?
Tight ureters.
Yeah, tight ureters are there for 2 to 5% of all the patients will have tight ureters. So we don't.
You stent them?
We stent.
How many days you wait?
I wait for 3 weeks.
3 weeks. So ideal time to wait, whichever stent is put, is 2 weeks. If you go very early, 3 days. For example, you admitted the patient, under pressure you try to take after 3 days. If again you cannot go inside, patient will get disappointed. So the maximum dilatation comes on the 10th day, irrespective, even if you put a guide wire, the maximum dilatation comes on 10th day. If you want to go very early, over enthusiastically, put 7 French. Otherwise, no. Stricture rate overall.
Can I have a word there?
Yeah.
Another option in a tight ureter, if you are hard pressed for time, say we have a lot of patients who come in from abroad and who would want to go back in a fortnight's time. So what we do with such patients is, over a bi-wire, we can thread in a P5 ureteroscope without the use of an access sheet.
Yes. Any tight ureter is tight ureter. If you cannot pass easily, you don't have any other choice other than passive dilatation or active dilatation. Most of the literature says that don't go aggressive active dilatation. Ureter is not going to distend. Reason being, the rest of the ureter is also not distensible and water will not come down. Then the pressure will increase. Idea is the distensibility of the ureter, not just having a bypass to go into the kidney. So better avoid in tight ureters direct surgery. Now this is a common scenario. Upper ureteric stone is very, very difficult in places. You pass a guide wire, it goes kink like this. At this stage, usually in rigid ureteroscopy, you pass a 180 degrees loop. You try to pass rigid ureteroscope, cannot turn. One maneuver is that you push the abdomen and stretch posterior abdominal wall, then it can go. You are lucky if it is not impacted stone. Does flexible scope helps in these situations or not?
No, this is the same phenomenon in flexible also. It's very difficult with flexible. One thing is you can use a Mertz maneuver where you can just pull the kidney from below the rib. The second thing is you can use a second guide wire so that you can straighten the ureter and then pass a flexible ureteroscope. But otherwise, negotiating this type of kink with a flexible ureteroscope is impossible.
See, after certain experience, I thought with this kink reasonably, I have gone in, then I perforated with flexible scope, then that type of RGP is seen. So, flexible ureteroscope over the guide wire also can perforate. Only thing is that your experience, how much you are pushing in. Flexible ureteroscope in a closed cavity acts as rigid scope, not like in kidney. So the tip of the flexible scope is equally damaging. That's what this RGP. And when RGP, intravasation or extravasation in the ureter is seen, do you continue RIRS or not? When you perforation in the ureter, do you continue RIRS or not?
When you do an RGP?
RGP, like I have done over the guide where I pushed, then it caused perforation. I did immediately RGP, contrast by the side of the ureter.
You have to put a stent and come out.
Yeah. So do not attempt too much time in the ureter with rigid flexible scope or access sheath thinking that they are small. Not good. So stop, stent or PCN and do like in this case. Now next case is an injury by ureteroscope. I was on a day where I passed like that over the guide wire and erased that in the upper calyx it has perforated. So flexible ureteroscope tip, particularly the digital tip is very rigid. So casually you cannot push and see that it has gone out of the kidney. In such cases, do you do RGP and stop the procedure or continue? I have done RGP, This was good. When I was going up, some amount of contrast is. This is on a workshop day. Casually, I pushed the P7 and it has gone out of the calyx.
The problem is it will continue to extravasate, especially if you have a certain degree of pressure being built up in the kidney.
Yes.
It will continue to extravasate and
Yes.
it will give you trouble. So it's
Yeah.
better to, with this kind of extravasation on the RGO,
Yes.
it would be better to come another
Better
day.
to terminate any injury. You will raise, in any RIRS, minimum pressure raised is 40 mm of Hg. If you use any pressure, it will go above 100. Many studies have proven. You cannot control that pressure. If you have made perforation, don't do it. This is a small child, post-PCNL, fecal fistula, inferior calyceal stone. Many times I was trying very small space, so I tried to make popcorn, but this is at the end, perinephric collection is there. In such, after the procedure, if you detect, do you go for PCN or wait for this stent?
I think it's reasonable to wait with a stent, provided the ureteral integrity is fine, the PUJ is all fine.
Yes.
In that case, it is worthwhile just waiting with the
So
stent.
important point is the injury by flexible scope will not be too big because the tip is 2.5 French. 2.5 French you cannot perforate and make multiple openings in the kidney. One opening you can make, after that you can stop. Unlike in PCNL, you can make a 30 French or 20 French can injure a major part of the pelvic calyceal system. Here you can manage conservatively. In this child there was no problem. Guide wire, for the PG's sake, guide wire is passed like this. Guide wire over which the flexible scope was, before passing flexible scope, some amount of blood has come. In any part of the ureteroscopy, if you get blood suddenly, that means probably you have not done good. Do you think that the thermo guide wire also can perforate? See this picture. Guide wire has done this. Entire surgery is reviewed. The assistant is saying that I have not done anything, but this has happened. If it is a small stone, if you cannot put a stent, oh, it's not good for the patient next day to face with high grade fever. If you cannot put stent, if it is a small stone where PCNL is not routinely attempted, then it is difficult situation doing PCN also. How do you address such problems?
If you are not able to pass a guide wire, then you have to divert it with a PCN. So either you can give some fluids and give some Lasix so that the pelvis gets distended, and then you can do a ultrasound guided PCN.
Do the Lasix on table distend the ureter so that you can get some advantage? Do you get?
Not really.
I felt not really.
It doesn't help. It doesn't
I'm
help.
talking about the PCN.
PCN.
Because
Okay,
the distal part is closed because of the extravasation.
Yes,
The
sir.
proximal you will get some amount of dilatation.
Now, next two videos are very important. You all use laser. In the kidney you have space, but in the ureter you don't have space. This is one of the dreadful case I have done. Large stone. My assistant was breaking with lithotripter. I came in and I saw and I said that we will use laser and quickly fast. I did it. And after a patient got severe fever, see this is a picture. This is a picture if you see in the ureter. Entire ureter is flakes. And after some this is RGP. In my 14 years of year, this is the worst injury in RIRS I have come across. This is not even RIRS. It is URSL where I thought I'll make fragments and take it out. And at the end, you have seen multiple strictures in the ureter after I have done PCN. Then what is your experience of using laser, non-impacted ureteric stone, non-impacted with rigid ureteroscope?
We don't use the laser in the ureter.
At all.
We
Yes.
have never used the laser in the ureter because of this dreaded complication.
Yes.
We always use the pneumatic. We are not bothered too much about stone migration because you can chase it into the kidney with the flexible scope these days. There is, I think, as you rightly said, it is a really confined space.
Yes.
You really do not have to touch the tip of the
Yes,
wall of the ureter.
normally the temperature raised will be up to
The thermal-
90 to 100 degrees centigrade.
The thermal injury alone is sufficient. You can see the blanching on the wall of the ureter,
Yeah.
and that is an ominous sign.
Important thing is rigid ureteroscopy does not have outflow. If you have access sheath, some outflow, that is still better. Rigid ureteroscopy with laser, be careful. Not usually you don't require. See, in this patient, honestly speaking, we planned for ileal transposition. Then before the night, I called Ganesh Gopalakrishnan sir. He said, pull as much bladder as possible. After that, small ileum you keep. But by the time I noticed that up to pelvis, I could reach the Boyari flap. Boyari flap easily it could come 15 centimeters. As of now, it is 6th month, post-stent removal, post-PCN removal patient is doing well.